Let's welcome our next guest, Landon Quinones. Landon, how are you?
What's up, my man? I'm great. How are you?
Not too bad. We appreciate your time. Since we're broadcasting the national show from the Tampa Bay, Florida area, headed out there in the next couple of days, what's the weather like in Vegas for us Floridians?
To be honest, it's actually pretty nice. It's not too cold. Kind of high 60s. The air is a little bit more dry also. So it's actually pretty cozy weather. I'm sure the night is going to be a little colder as the week goes on, but it's been pretty good.
Cool. What's and I know this is just the beginning of fight week, and what's that like? I mean, do you try not to think about, you have a job coming in a couple days, so that you're not falling into the pressure of performing, or do you block it out, or do you want to think about what's coming up on Saturday?
I mean, to be real, I've kind of made friends with that pressure, but in all reality, when you're in positions like this, being in the UFC, being the greatest organization in the world for the sport MMA, pressure is a privilege. So when you're here, you got to be grateful you're in this position. Just ride the wave however you can, accept it and embrace it. And I'm just happy to be here.
Is the pressure different? I mean, it's always a pressure. I've had numerous friends, all the way up to the UFC, all the way down to amateur ranks. It's always pressure. You're going to get in a fist fight, but is it more because it is the NFL of MMA with the UFC?
I don't really think so. At the end of the day, it is the biggest organization, and I've been kind of working to be here my whole life. But a fight's a fight. This is not uncharted territory. I already fought in front of 20,000 Australian fans in on UFC 293. So this is not like I haven't been in this position before. I've also fought in the Apex during the Ultimate Fighter. So I don't think it really makes too much of a difference. I'm just ready to get busy.
I was going to bring that up. We'll briefly touch base on the tough experience. What is it like for you to fight in the Apex? I'm mixed. Obviously, fighters want to fight in front of as many people, but I love the Apex. I love how small it is. I love how whether you're in person or you're watching it on TV, you can hear more than you can, obviously, at a sold-out T-Mobile or whatever. Give me your thoughts on the Apex.
To be honest, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like the quiet environment. I'm someone who thrives in the chaos. And I like the crowd. I feed off the energy. But at the end of the day, fights are fights, and I'll create my own chaos to make it happen. So, yeah.
But you really, you're tired like most of hearing the Ric Flair woo.
What do you mean?
The Ric Flair from the WWE.
Yeah.
That's like we sometimes time. When the first woo is going to come from the stands.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, but you don't hear it that much at the Apex. It's a really quiet environment. I want to hear that. I want to hear that shit go throughout the whole arena.
Okay, and just for the record, he said ship. He knows that I was in the Navy, so he said ship.
Yeah, I did say ship.
So Landon,
That's all good.
so Landon, I like to go through all of our guests Instagram pages, and a lot of them it's their life, and it's like the fishing and the hobbies and the things they're into, and then there's a fight poster every once in a while. Yours is all dedicated to the sport of fighting. It seems like. So one thing we like to do is like to get to know you. So what are those hobbies that you like to do when you're not fighting?
I like to play basketball. I have game nights with my friends. I like to go try different food spots. I love traveling if I have the time. Right now, I've been in training camp and been on the grind trying to advance my career, so there hasn't really been a lot of downtime, a lot of focus on improving and training. So I haven't really had the time to do those hobbies, but I feel like I'm a pretty diverse individual. I like to do a lot of different things, but right now it's been just about business, so that's why it seems kind of like that's consumed my whole life, because obviously it has.
All right, so here's the important question, for us, and we can tell you quickly what happened with us last night at an event. Things got out of hand. When I used to play when I was much younger, you go out in the streets and you play. Do you guys call fouls, or do you let, hey, it's ball, whatever happens, happens?
No, you call fouls, but you don't call everything. You got to keep the game a little bit physical. You can't be over here crying like a big baby if someone nudges you or something. It's just part of the game. But, there's a line between playing, tough ball and then playing prison ball. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to play no prison ball. I'm trying to play good. I'm also a professional athlete in another sport, so I'm not over there trying to dive for balls and get hurt,
We went to a charity event last night, and we were on one of those 360 photo booths. I don't know if you've ever seen it, and the camera kind of goes around in circles. And what started as, they had a bunch of props, so the moron across from me and the moron across from him, which was obviously be me, instead of putting the stupid glasses and the big floppy hat, we put on boxing gloves. And so what started as what you would do with like a 2-year-old baby turned into full blows on about a 2-foot wide circle. So yeah, things got out of hand, and one of us fell and broke the camera. So it didn't really go very well. I understand you're also a cyclist. We're getting right off of it real quick. You also do a lot of biking, right?
I do a lot of biking. I like to do it on my spare time. I haven't been able to do it lately. The weather hasn't really been approving me going for bike rides because of the weather in Florida. It's been real gloomy, real nasty lately. So it's something I like to do. I like to go to the beach and take a long ride over there. But I just moved recently, so I got to actually find a new route also. So.
Well, I happen to have we happen to have a route for you, and if you think you've gone on a long ride, go ahead, Matt.
So 2010, I rode a bicycle from St. Pete, Florida to New York City to deliver a message that pizza is a healthy food.
So are you game? You want to ride from Cape Coral to New York City with Matt?
Absolutely not. I like my legs.
So Landon, so going back to the basketball thing, you know, I come from Indiana, the greatest basketball state of all time, and we played no blood, no foul. Last night, Randy bled, he won. So I took a loss in my fighting career. So I'm at 0-1 right now.
I'm a diehard Heat fan. Don't talk to me about that. I'm a huge Heat fan.
What about Rick Barry? We interviewed Rick Barry last week, and
But he's not. Yeah, but he's not a Heat, you know. So he's
still a legend. Does it matter?
With the Granny Shot King, right?
Yep. He has. I believe it is the best field goal percentage. Why he couldn't teach Shaq that, so Shaq could just literally hand it over and put it in the hoop, you know, from free throw line. You know, I'm not sure. So do you go to Heat games?
Yeah, I do actually. The last game I went to was actually for my birthday. A friend of mine took me. I went to the Heat versus the Nets, and we actually won that game. They're on a little bit of a rough streak right now, 7-game losing streak. But we just got Terry Rozier. We got to get him into the rotation. You know what I mean? Things are gonna look up. But if you didn't obviously watch the playoffs last year, you know the Heat are not a regular season team. They are a playoff team. You know.
Very true.
Hard-working team in the league, and we coming for a chip. And I don't care what you say.
I love this guy.
He's awesome.
This is great.
The best.
Talk about you know, the team, you know, Kill Cliff down there.
Well, I'm actually no longer training at Kill Cliff at the moment. I've actually decided after the Ultimate Fighter, training with Connor, and like just kind of like the way things were going in my life, I decided to do more of like the small team approach. MMA Science Academy is where I've trained at since I was 18 years old. With my head coach Roger Crawl, he decided to start a pro team. So I decided to kind of like bring my circle a little smaller and get a place where I can get coaching and get in a routine and have people like paying attention and catering to the needs that I need from my training camp. So,
You know,
Kill Cliff, they're a great team. They have great coaches, but it's a huge room. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got 4 or 5 coaches for like 75, 80 fighters, and I feel like it just wasn't the right move for what I need at the moment, getting into the UFC and being where I'm at right now. But I still got a lot of love for them. The coaches are great. I still talk to my former teammates all the time. It's never anything like animosity or anything like that. They're great people, great team, and the bridge isn't burned there. But I just decided to do my own thing, and you know, I feel like it's worked out really well for me. I've made great gains. I've made great improvements, and you know, my confidence has skyrocketed. My health has gotten way better. I feel awesome about this camp, and I'm ready to put on a show with it.
You know, I think a lot of times fans don't realize that, Landon. You know, they think, you know, whether it's Extreme Couture or, you know, Miletich back in the day, and, you know, you think those big teams and how awesome it is, but I don't think people realize that, you know, that takes a lot of time, and you need certain things done, and if you're in, you know, a room of, I don't know, 90 people or 100 people, you're not getting that attention that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing too is when you're in a room full of all those people, like it's hard to stay accountable. You get tired. No coaches are watching you. No coaches are on you. And I know, like, I'm not someone who needs to be babysat, but I feel like it helps your drive a lot more when you got the coaches watching you. It puts pressure on you to keep working hard through the whole practice and taking those little breaks and coasting and taking breaks with certain partners. You know what I mean? I feel like when I have a small amount of partners, we're held a lot more accountable, so I get a lot more work in.
See, Landon just caught me. He didn't know he just caught me, but that's the reason why with David Vieira, the room was so big, I could skate through stuff because he couldn't see me hiding in the corner. Now everybody knows what I did. Thanks.
I roped him.
So Landon, I guess back during when Shaq was with the Heat, he had a new yacht that he named Free Throw, and it was guaranteed not to sink. So.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's guaranteed not to sink it because it's named Free Throw.
Let's before we run out of time, let's talk about, you know, the task at hand. You're there; it's a work week, but Saturday is the job. Talk to us about the fight. Talk to us about your opponent.
I mean, it's a great fight. You know what I mean? The matchmakers always know what they're doing, you know. This is a fight that I technically asked for. I didn't call Marquel out, but my manager was set a fight that was available February 3rd with his name to all our lightweights, and I was the first one to jump at it. I think it's a great matchup, two strikers going at it. You know, I feel like he does a lot of things that I'm really good at with pass kicks and like draw stepping, and he has a lot of good techniques and a lot of things he does. He comes from a good camp, Factory X. But at the end of the day, I feel like I've had more of a strength of schedule. I fought tougher opponents. I've been in dogfights, and I know things about myself that I know he doesn't know about himself because he's never been there, you know?
Right.
He's never lost his flow in a fight. He's never had anyone push him, and he's never actually fought a real striker. So I think I have a huge advantage as far as experience is concerned. And I have the technique and the skill to match whatever he brings me, and he's not going to show me anything I haven't seen before. So I'm looking to go in there and make a statement and show that I'm not just here to be signed to the UFC. I'm here to be a contender in the division, and I'm going to make a strong introduction with a W come Saturday.
What can you, if anything, can you take from that experience of being in the house, being in that tough season? You know, as now your career furthers and now a member of the UFC, and can you draw from anything from the house?
Absolutely, man. Those lights were crazy. The pressure of that situation was crazy. You know, before being in the UFC or being on those big shows, I fought Titan FC. I fought in front of big crowds. I fought for belts. I've been scheduled for 5-round fights. I fought tough opponents. I've been in tough fights. But there's nothing like being in that UFC octagon and being in that apex, that eerie feeling, you know? So I feel like with all the things that were going on, I felt like I tried to downplay the moment on the pressure. And I feel like that's something that made me freeze. You know, I wasn't ready for that moment. As ready as I thought I was, God put me in there to show me that I wasn't. And by going through that experience and taking that loss to Jason Knight and being under that pressure, I understand what that feels like now. And I've learned to embrace my emotions and embrace the pressure and embrace the moment and not let the moment be bigger than me. So I feel like that's something huge that I've taken from that, as well as the training regimen and the training routines, the way watching Conor carry himself. And let's be real, Conor's the most successful fighter in the history of the sport. You know, you can argue about GOAT status, you can argue who has more accomplishments, but if you want to talk about success, he's the top of the totem pole, you know? So being able to see how he carries himself, I took a lot of notes from that, the way I do my training, the way I recover, the way I stretch, like the way my attitude is. There's a lot of things that helped me grow from that experience, and I'm going to take it with me come February 3rd. Awesome.
Landon, thank you for your time. Enjoy the week. Have fun on Saturday. I know we have your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong. We're going to send you some drinks from Bucked Up Energy Drink, as well as can Landon be our first recipient of some of the honey?
Absolutely.
All right, talk about the honey real quick.
Texas hot honey. It's honey infused, spicy. Goes on to anything, pizza, food, drinks. It's awesome.
I love me some hot honey.
All right, done. So we're going to get you some of that as well. Have a good time. We'll talk after and try to get you into the Tampa Bay area to do some fishing and. But more importantly, you have a job at hand, and enjoy it and have fun on Saturday.
Absolutely, my brother. These are the best nights of our life, and one day we aren't going to be able to do this anymore, so take it in stride, right?
This guy's a veteran.
Man, he's the best.
God, he is the best. Landon, thanks a lot. Enjoy the week.
All right, guys. God bless. Thank you.
See
You as well. Landon Quinones. And he's talking like he's been around for, forever. This is I like this young man. Almost said kid, this young man.
Well, speaking of veterans, I saw that the Navy.
All right, first of all, let's hit a break, and then you can try to, whatever you're going to start, talking about my boys, my boys in the Navy. We'll talk about it when we return. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by Staff Zone, Bucked Up Energy Drink, 8 Man Strong, and Bio Accelerator. Next week, Vegas. The rest of this week, here at the Cool Breeze AC Broadcast Facility. We'll be right back.